Good morning. I'm actually very nervous right now, but I know that I have a few fans in the audience, so I'm doing this. And I have people who have watched all the shows I've performed in, basically my parents. So before anything else, I'd like to admit something that I'm sure a lot of my classmates will begin poking me for. I don't usually admit this to anyone, not even to my family. And more than anything else, I'm really blessed. I'm blessed. With effort, of course, I'm able to top my class, to top my batch even. And it's something that I'm really thankful for. But more than just this, I realized that I have a passion for acting. I am an actor. And what it led me to think was that, why was I willing to sacrifice my academics just to get into acting? Why did I want to go into theater if I knew that I would be spending hours blocking, rehearsing, and have less time to do homework, less time to study, less time to join competitions? And why I'm here in front of you today is to tell you reasons why you shouldn't go theater. Now, as for my theatrical history, the first time I actually got into theater was in the 5th grade during summer when my parents enrolled me in a summer school where we staged a musical production of Alice in Wonderland, and I played the White Rabbit. And that felt really good performing in front of an audience. So when I got into high school, I decided, okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll join theater. I'll join TEDxXavierSchool, which is our theater club. So these are a few of the productions I've been a part of. And the thing with TEDxXavierSchool is that we'd usually hold meetings Fridays 4 to 7. And if Fridays 4 to 7 didn't work and show dates neared, we'd have to hold meetings every day from 4 to 10 even. And it really gave me less time to prepare for my studies, less time to do homework. I regularly joined competitions, and it gave me less time to even prepare for these competitions. Sometimes I'd have to skip practice just to get to rehearsal. And it makes life really hard, you know. But probably there was a reason why I stayed, and that reason I got from my very first theater experience. You see the poster there with my face on it. Yes, that's me. I played an ailing 60, 70-year-old professor in Ang Sistema ni Professor Toko. And basically, what happened was during our second show, a lot of people don't know this since after the show, the whole audience was clapping. I forgot 2 lines. And forgetting those 2 lines made the entire cast skip 2 pages of the script. And those 2 pages had the funniest lines, the funniest jokes, and I felt terrible. I felt devastated. After the curtains closed, the audience were all applauding. But backstage, the whole company's faces were just... And it was as if they were subtly telling me that, you suck, you're a terrible person, I can't believe you put me there, you're a loser, don't even show your face here. And as we were walking out of the lecture hall where we performed, everybody's faces were just down. And I felt devastated. It was like I was depressed for how many weeks. But then, what I realized was that theater forced me to fail. If I never joined theater in the first place, I would never have failed. Or at least I think I would never have failed. I am not a man of failure. I hated failure. And the moment I joined theater, I failed. But what this failure made me realize is that the only reason why failure is there is because there's success to come along with it. Success is the reason why failure is there. Failure is not there to taunt you and tell you that the only thing you're capable of doing is fail. Failure is there because, yes, I am here because there is a success you must work for. And I had already been content working for success without failing. So why did I even join theater in the first place? Well, after that second show, nobody really rubbed it or shoved it down my throat that, oh, you failed, you forgot your lines. Well, some people told me, yeah, brush up on your lines for our final show. And I did. I brushed up on my lines. And the final show was the greatest. And what I realized was that theater is a kind of collaboration. But this is a very different type of collaboration. The reason why I wanted to succeed for my final show wasn't necessarily because I wanted to redeem myself for forgetting lines or because I wanted to let people know, oh, I memorized the 30-page script and I'm better than all of you. No. What I realized was that the reason why I wanted to succeed was because I wanted everybody else around me to succeed. And I think that's what theater has already ingrained in me. That's making me so difficult to do things. Is that every time I do something now, it's as if I have to think of others all the time. And that's what theater did to me. Because I wanted to do my part, it wasn't because I wanted to be perfect. It was because I wanted the others around me to succeed alongside me. And that's something that has stuck with me ever since my very first production, Toko. Now, after me forgetting 2 lines, our moderator, Mr. E.J. Legaspi, would approach me and tell me, don't listen to the compliments people will give you. And a lot of people after the show told me, oh, that was a good show, oh, that was great, you were so funny, yeah, that was good. And he said, don't listen to them because they're just probably making you feel good. And I was devastated. It was like my whole life was a lie. I wasn't good. And the only reason why I thought I was good or I felt good was because people wanted me to feel good. And I was a failure of sorts, really. But I tried to dig up through these compliments. And just recently, during our last production, which was Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap, there was a grade 2 kid who was staring at me on my way to rehearsal. Now, I didn't know this grade 2 kid. He was just staring at me. And he was, on my way to rehearsal, he was like around this tall, and he was just staring. And I was walking. And I noticed him staring. And I said, oh, hello. Yeah. He was just staring, and I said, yes, is there something? And then a few moments later, he shouted in my face, you're a homicidal maniac! Of course, I was taken back. If I never joined theater in the first place, I would never have been called a homicidal maniac in my entire life. I don't think I will become a homicidal maniac, so never. I would never have thought of that. But here's this grade 2 kid, grade 2, who called me a homicidal maniac. Well, what this made me feel was that I felt good being called a homicidal maniac. Because I was a homicidal maniac. I am a homicidal maniac, and I'm proud to be one. Well, I don't really want to spoil The Mousetrap for you, since with all other theatrical shows, it's something you have to experience for yourself for the full effect. But the thing was, I did play a homicidal maniac. And the reason why it felt so good, because if there's any single thing we do in theater, it's that we tell stories. We tell stories that words cannot capture. We tell stories that are very limited by film and television. We tell them live, and we tell them straight to in your face. And every time I perform, it's as if I have to leave something on the stage just so that the audience has something to grasp. And theater has become more than anything else an investment for me. Every time I go onto the stage to perform, I have to do my best and leave something so that the audience has something to pick up. Hopefully something good, maybe something bad, I don't know. They have something to pick up from what I did. And it's an investment. Technically speaking, theater is expensive. A lot of people ask, oh, why do I have to pay for 1,000 pesos just to watch, for example, Phantom of the Opera from the back seats at the balcony? And theater really is expensive. First, we pay for costumes, props, set design, which our club just recycles since we can't afford them. We just borrow costumes from those who have them in the cast or even from the crew. And we'd have to recycle, we'd have to build and disintegrate our entire prop just for a new production. Theater really is an investment. And more than just being an investment for us performers, and it's an investment for the audience too. When a lot of people go to the theater, it's not just you watching your friends or watching so that you'll be entertained. What I realized is that every time you pay to watch theater, you're actually being a part of the theater. You are the reason why we perform. And by being audience members to theater, you actually live out a culture that has existed 2,000, 3,000 years ago when it was still part of the way of life of the Greeks and the Romans. And theater has really become an investment. Every time we perform, we invest something in it. And this investment, the reason why we invest all of this is because theater is ultimately something that is very real. Now, the reason why it's real for us actors, it's because when we go up the stage to perform or act, we do not merely be someone else. We do not try to copy or try to act out a certain role, because when these characters are written out for plays, They are written to be people living in this very world, or living in their own world, whichever world. They are very real, and they're as real as you and me. And the thing is, every time I go up the stage, it's a different identity I take on. It's not me trying to be someone else. And the thing is, theater transcends this realness. A lot of people ask why the recent musicals talk about sex, drugs, homosexuality, AIDS. These aren't the things you talk about on the dinner table. You don't go approaching someone, hey, I have AIDS, let's sing about it. No. Theater is something that is really real. It faces you with the truths that a lot of people refuse to accept. And that's probably why you shouldn't go theater. Why will we face the truths that we don't want to accept, really? Theater is real. And I think more than just the truth, recently during the Typhoon Pablo, there was a certain theater troupe that performed for the victims of the calamity. And what it made me realize was that more than just being real or just being true, theater is a source of inspiration. It's a source of happiness. And what these people see is that there is a certain hope in theater that the show will go on, life will continue on, and there is something to look forward to. Now, here's a picture I got from Google Images. It's the third or fourth picture you'll see when you type up Christian Go. But that person there is not Christian Go. That person you see there is Professor Tuko. It wasn't a certain Christian Go that forgot 2 lines of his script and that made the entire rest of the cast forget 2 pages of the script. That was a Professor Tuko who just felt like skipping advisory period for 1 day. That is real. And what I am doing now here, this is theater. I am a performer. I am speaking to you. This is my stage. You are my audience. This is very real. But perhaps we change it up a bit. What if I sat here and watched you guys? You become the performers. You are on your own stage. I'm now an audience member. You are performing. Every single waking moment of our lives, we are performing. The moment we wake up, brush our teeth, go to school, and raise our hand to ask a question or to answer our teacher's question, we are performing. And it's not always that people will be watching us, but people may judge us, people may criticize us, and we will always be performing. So much so that theater is no longer just a mere part of our culture. Theater has not been something that has been a past way of life solely. Theater is ultimately something that is ingrained in the way we live, and more than that, theater is the way we live. Theater is our way of life. Theater is our lives. Our lives are built around theater, and theater is inevitable. It's something we can't avoid. And yeah, don't go to theater because you'd want to break the inevitable, wouldn't you? We have been blessed with lives in this world. And I think the least we can do with the lives we have is to exist. We have been given the chance to live in a world where we can move around. We can exist. I have existed. But I have risked my existence by performing. I have dared to perform. I dare you to perform. But I don't think performing is for everyone, though. And you may choose not to perform. But I ask you, will all of you, or will any of you, be willing to live? Thank you very much.